This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, and we welcome you to Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
I just read an article about a family situation. Want to get your guys' take on this. A family was hosting a barbecue, and they decided not to invite a family member. And they didn't do it in a subtle way. They did it in a you are not invited sort of way. That family member had come to the barbecue the year prior, but they were loud, they were obnoxious, they were opinionated, and they just didn't care for it. Young gal, she's a cousin to the woman who was hosting the party, but she's also a caregiver to one of the uncles in the family. Okay. So this created a lot of tension because some family members thought it was wrong to disinvite her, while other family members celebrated the fact that she was disinvited.
I guess if the only way I would say that would be acceptable is if they've had a talk with her and say, hey, look, let's just not do that. Let's just all have fun. Yeah. And then she winds up kind of not honoring that, with prior experience. If something happened throughout the year, that's one thing. And again, we are hearing her side, the one side of the story. But it goes to show what would you do? And I would imagine if that person's problematic, especially maybe with drinking, then I don't see a problem with it at all. I mean, it's your party.
Right. And then I don't know if that's a problem you can resolve by just saying, hey, you're too loud and obnoxious, you're not invited to the party. Because doesn't that create more turmoil within the family?
You always have that one person in the family.
There's always the one.
You always have that one person in the family who's the toxic one. You have the one who's the tells everybody business. You have the one who's the history person who knows all the history of every cousin and all that stuff in the family. And you have the one that everybody can go to and talk to, right? Yeah. So you gotta use those personalities to kind of help this situation out. We're talking about a deeper problem within the family. Yeah. You can't talk to each other and say, hey,
that's a good point.
This is somebody you've seen grow up. Yeah. You know how they've been in the entire time. So it should be no surprise that they're going to be the loud one at the party. But there's someone within that family, like I said, that can talk to them and say, hey, just tone it down just a little bit. That's
the simplest thing in the world. Start the barbecue about like 8:30, 9 o'clock. When you tell her.
Right.
But it really starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
They're always late anyway.
But again, if it's family, everybody talks, right? So it's not. So what happens when she gets word she's not been invited, or does she just show up because she thinks it's a family barbecue? So I just show up. Why wouldn't I?
I mean, you don't want to isolate. I mean, we know stories about family members who have been isolated, and guess what? They've been the one that's given everything by grandma and grandpa because they've been
the family dynamic.
You know what I'm saying? The family dynamic. Yeah. So I mean, it's a conversation that just needs to be had, and we all have our situations and issues and our quirks and so on and so forth. So
there was one person who responded to the post and said, you got to know the difference between a relative and a family member. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, because a cousin's more of a relative than a family member, right? So
it's all relative.
It's all relative, yeah. I don't know. I thought
that's an interesting way to think of that.
You could look at it that way.
Family's family to me. We're everybody. But if there's an issue, it would be hard for me to leave somebody out because I would know how that would feel for me.
Yes.
Because it's happened to me before, and then especially people that didn't know me. Yeah. And I'm not going to do that sort of thing. But they didn't know me, so they're they only know from me from what they saw, kind of thing. Party wise. But family might be a different story. It's like you know me my whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
There's a question for you. Would you ever disinvite a family member to a get together?
Or not invite them at all?
Or not invite them at all. Exactly. And also we've got our question of the day, James.
Yeah, I mean, family members can do a lot of things to you, including changing your life. So, what changed your life fast? What changed your life fast?
I would say when my parents got divorced. Completely changed my life because I never expected it, and it was just a complete.
Oh, it was out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
You did not. No signs.
No signs. Nothing. And then it one day we were there, and the next day we weren't.
There was an age where that was normal because they didn't want the kids to know. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
Were you young at the
time? Young, 8 years old. But it wasn't normal and it was kind of at that time where divorce wasn't really a thing. It was kind of right on the verge of. Now everybody's like, I've had it, we're getting divorced.
Well, families talk together. And as you said that, I was going to be funny and sing Tammy Wynette's divorce song.
Sorry.
But do you know what I thought
be funny
of?
about it.
Okay, and this is not you.
Yeah.
But I think because it did change my life. What did I do to my kids? So I got divorced. You know, James and I both have been divorced. We had a great marriage, you and I.
Yes, we did. I got the kids every other week.
We're divorced. But it showed me how ignorant I was to the relationship that it was such a surprise to me. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I really didn't pick up on all that. And this is what I learned, tell me if you agree, James, that a woman will divorce you years before you get divorced.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great point.
And I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. A man would sacrifice his happiness for the family. A woman would some ladies would sacrifice their family for their happiness. That's what's been said, right?
That's
so
interesting.
when she checks out, just like when you're talking about cheating,
I'm writing that down.
And that is cheating. Women cheat mentally, men cheat physically. Right?
Okay.
So, you know, it is.
It's emotions.
Emotion
versus logic, where men think logically about not to say women don't think logically.
Right.
No, but it's true.
But women think they react off their emotions.
I think too, the other question is, like, if you do get divorced, is it harder for older kids or younger kids? In my case, I think it's younger.
I think it's younger, because I mean, honestly, I went from having my kids every day to not having anybody in the house but me. And that was, and they're talking to them on the phone and putting them in the bed, and that was like, whoa, that was a big one. And they're kind of like, where you at, Dad? Where you at? Are you okay? Where you at? Where you at?
That's a tough one.
My wife, my ex-wife was a stay-at-home mom. She had never worked, and then I had to start doing the stuff that she had to do, which was interesting. But I always wanted to have a really close relationship with my daughter. I didn't want it to be that way, but it forced me. She was 13 at the time, then 14, and I learned a lot based off that. I wonder, how close. I feel that she and I are close. She gets me, I get her, that sort of thing. And I learned a lot about women during that time, how to take care of them, and I needed to learn that. I felt like.
Sure.
Retrospect.
Well, let us know what you think. Yeah, we did. Let us know what you think. What is one moment that changed your life in a very
fast way?
Very fast way. Thank you very much. A wealthy New York City investor has gone viral creating quirky edible portraits of celebrities using leftover food from the grocery store. Harley Langberg turns vegetables, mashed potatoes, waffles, and pasta into artistic masterpieces of stars like Jalen Brunson, even Ed Sheeran. His Instagram account showcases these temporary creations that he photographs before cooking the ingredients for his family. It's a unique hobby. It started after visiting a food art exhibit, and it has led to viral fame, brand deals, and even some print sales for this guy.
That's dope.
So it's kind of crazy, the one that changed his life fast. If you think about it, he went to a food art show. He's like, this is cool. This is what I'll do. Instagram it, and then all of a sudden he's this Insta celebrity.
He had as a talent, and he used that talent, he's not wasting food, and that's something to do with it, right?
Yes.
Otherwise it'd just be thrown away. I can appreciate that. It's well-rounded of how it can help, and he should be making all kinds of money with that. I love that. I love that people would do those sort of things.
Have you ever put like a design together for food?
I have not, but I was trying to show you. If you go to my Facebook page,
Mickey Mouse ears for pancakes or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For kids, you have to do that.
James, how about you?
One of the things I was going to say about this is that I love that nothing goes to waste. He's actually taking a photo, then taking the food, cooking up for his family. I think that's dope, and that's a family experience. You can have the kids come in and help out, and so on and so forth.
That's a great point.
I used to, I was my mom's sous chef, so.
Were you? So you enjoyed that? That was a bonding experience.
Yeah, that was
right?
a bonding experience. But see, I hate cooking, because as a kid, my family made me chop up every little onion, green bell pepper, tomato, this, that, and all that stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm staying out the kitchen.
And now your mom just brings you your breakfast. I love it.
Okay, so all right, so I had an actor or an artist. I don't know how she found me or whatever. I think I liked her stuff, but what she does is basically she grabs food and she turns it into stuff. And I wrote her one day and I said, hey man, that is really cool what you did. If you go to my Facebook page, which is Facebook at Mitch English, she did this and she goes, here you go.
Awesome.
I didn't tell her to do it or anything, and now she makes a lot of money doing just that.
Doing
and
food art.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that down. That's me.
I
and it's
love it.
It's peanut butter and jelly. It looks like mustard, but it's peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, wow.
And she just took a picture and that's all made out of peanut butter and jelly.
That is awesome.
And she does it in her kitchen with a camera. She has it all set up. And I was like so grateful for it. And I said, I'm never going to change my Facebook page.
Peanut butter and jelly time.
You should check it out. I follow her on Instagram as well. Many talents out there.
Yeah.
We would love to hear yours. Why don't you share it with us so we can show it on the air? That'd be your best bet.
I love it. Before we head to break, we've got a brain flash question.
All right, we're talking about chess. In chess, which piece can only move diagonally? They'll have that answer coming up right after this.
Talking about Connect 4, are you?
Not Connect 4, chess. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Let's see if you got today's brain flash question correct. Here is that question. In chess, which piece, or what piece rather, can you only move diagonally? You know what it is. It's the bishop.
Ooh, the bishop.
The bishop is the one. All right, hopefully you got that right. All right, welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch English here, along with Andrea Jackson. We all had those negative thoughts about ourselves from time to time, but do you ever think that those thoughts actually can shape how we see ourselves and affect our own self-worth? Well, our next guest, Jacquie Elliott, she's got a new book out. It's called The Silent Bully, A Journey from Abusive Brain Chatter to Self-Love. It's important that you listen to this. She joins us now with some advice on how to quiet that chatter. She's down in Mexico. She tells us she is completely fine down there as well. Hi, Jacquie. Welcome to Daily Flash.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I think, as I was researching a little bit before I was talking to you, I think every person is guilty of this, and we don't even realize we do it. But we need to back up a little bit. Explain what ABC, or abusive brain chatter, is all about.
Okay, so as you said, we all have negative thoughts.
Yeah.
But abusive brain chatter is emotional abuse that we put onto ourselves. So, in other words, it's gaslighting ourselves. It's any kind of self-talk that holds us back. If we feel we're not good enough, then we're not gonna go for a better job. If we feel we're not pretty enough, we may not try to get a relationship. If we feel this is all we deserve, we may stay in toxic relationships. It's really what emotional, it's what I say is it's a negative talk on steroids.
Yeah.
And I think we've all heard other people say that, oh, I'm so stupid. I'll never get a job like that. Or God, I flubbed that. And they're going to think I'm an idiot. And, that kind of berating of yourself. I call it abusive brain chatter because it's important to understand that it is abuse. It is emotional self-bullying.
And we do it more. I find myself like I'll write something wrong, let's just say, and I go, man, I'm so stupid. I shouldn't have. I'm doing it. And we have trained ourselves to do this. This is very important stuff that we need to get out of our vernacular and B, out of our mind altogether. So you've helped us out by creating a very simple yet transformative set of tools. And since it's abusive chatter, ABC, you've got the tools how we can fix the ABCs. Let's start off with A. What does A stand for?
So A stands for awareness. And I think this is the most important. With any problem, you have to first be aware. And I think we're so used to, hearing people berate themselves and berate ourselves that we're not even aware we're doing it. Like you said, and it's not just, oh, I did something stupid. It's more of really looking in the mirror and saying, oh my God, you look so ugly. You look so old. It's that kind of berating. So I always say to people, the first thing you have to do is just start writing down your thoughts. What are the negative thoughts that you have? And, for a week, if you take a little notebook and you say, oh, there, I looked in the mirror and I said I looked ugly. I wanted to go for that job, but I am too afraid because I think I'm stupid.
Sure.
Just start being aware of what you're saying to yourself. But in addition to that awareness, we have to be aware of the signs of emotional abuse. So emotional abuse is bullying, belittling, gaslighting, isolating, any kind of thing that is there to lower your self-esteem.
Jacquie, I want to make sure we get through all this, the ABC. So I want to kind of move on here because what you're saying is very important by all means. But our next letter is B, and that is believe. Explain belief on that one. Do I believe on that person or what?
Yeah, so believe is more of a spiritual type of thing. If you try to change I always say you can't change your brain with your own brain. You have to tap into something, a higher self, something that you can believe in. You have to first tap into that voice that tells you you're good enough, you're loving. You have to find a loving voice and start believing that voice.
And that I would imagine you need to do and recognize quickly after you're like, no, I'm not stupid. I'm actually a really smart person. That's at least that's what I do, and it's been helping me. Finally, you say that letter C is challenge. How do we challenge ourselves?
Well, we challenge our core beliefs.
There you go. Okay.
If you have a belief that you can't excel in your work, or that you have to be perfect, that's a core belief. And you say, where did I hear that from? Where did that come from? I don't have to be perfect. Core belief was my father said I had to work hard and that was all that mattered. So we examine our core beliefs. For example, I had a core belief I wasn't pretty. So, and that was just as a result of the way I was raised. And so for my entire life, I was looking, I always felt less than, and I was looking for relationships, that affirmed that.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing, is challenging your core beliefs. I ran a marathon to prove that I could really, that I could do that. It was a triathlon. I came in last, but the point is I challenged that core belief that I was weak.
It's important to do that, right?
It's very important to do that. And it's just as simple as, oh, gee, I'm holding myself back from writing that book. B, okay, you know what? I think inside of me is a loving book, and I'd like that to share that book. I have a loving voice. And then C, where did I learn that I couldn't write a book, or who told me that? Well, my parents never supported me, or, I failed an English class. That's where I got that core belief. And so it's just those simple, it sounds simple, but it's those steps that we just remind ourselves every time we hear ourselves holding ourselves back or making a negative thought.
Yeah, we got to move forward. We're our worst critics, and everything you say. When I was a kid, my brother told me I was fat, and I look back at pictures and I wasn't, and it makes me so mad that I believed it. And I wound up growing up being really fat, having to lose all that weight. Thank you so much, Jackie, and for being on the show, and we're happy that you're safe down in Mexico as well. You at home, if you want to find out more information and get a copy of Jackie's book, The Silent Bully, just visit JackieElliottABC.com, and we'll have this link on our website.
Wondering how aesthetic treatments can help you look your best? Dermatologist Dr. Mona Gohara, in partnership with Allergen Aesthetics, is here with more. Doctor, great to have you. There's a lot of conversation online about unnatural filler results. What's your reaction to this, and what causes issues like filler migration?
So I think the most important thing to remember is exactly what you just said, Andrea. Online, you have to consider the source. I can tell you, as a board-certified dermatologist for the past 20 years, that hyaluronic acid filler treatments are safe. They create a natural result, a customizable result. And if it's done by a board-certified dermatologist or a board-certified plastic surgeon, you will be happy as a clam. So the key is to consider the source. Don't look at those overpuffed lips or those overpuffed cheeks. Just go to a provider who knows what they're doing. In terms of filler migration, sure, that can happen. It is not common at all. It isn't something that we see in our offices on a regular or daily basis. So again, I encourage you to follow the science, not the hype.
I think that's great advice, and this follows into the next question, really. What should patients expect during and after treatment, and how can they ensure they get the results they want?
That's a great question. So first, pick your provider, right? So you want to make sure that you're going to a board-certified plastic surgeon or dermatologist to get the treatment. Second, have a plan. Make sure that they know what you expect and you know what they expect. Have a plan. You want to tell your doctor that you want a natural result, right? So you get a natural result. Third, you want to pick the right product. I personally like hyaluronic acid fillers because they are great at replacing age-related volume loss. And then you want to have patience. So just remember that nothing happens overnight, but the results you get will be amazing.
That is so true, especially when it comes to beauty and this kind of thing. Shortcuts are not a good idea. questions and
No.
patience, as you mentioned, are a very good idea. Where can our viewers go to learn more or find a qualified provider?
Great question. Patients can go to naturallyyouwithha.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll post this interview on our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
All right, thank you there, Andrea. Very interesting stuff there. Some trending news stories. Weight loss medications actually have moved beyond the medicine cabinet. Now they're actually in the hiring conversation. Recent surveys show that growing share of workers are either using or planning on using weight loss medications as part of their health goals. Independent reports show that employers from the tech industry to even healthcare are adapting medical benefits to reflect these new priorities. Vendors are now making GLP-1 coverage easier for employees to manage. So they're really, if you look at this, is more like a benefit that you're receiving, because so many people are going on these weight loss products, and they know, hey, if you sign on with us, your insurance is going to cover these weight loss, and that's interesting.
Isn't it fascinating that something that was intended for diabetes has turned into this, at least a U.S. phenomena, and if not a global phenomena for people who are looking to lose weight. And I still question, the legitimacy of this drug for some people who are using it for instant gratification.
And it seems there's that look, that gaunt look that they have as well, right?
Have you seen Kelly Osbourne?
That's funny you said that. That's who I was thinking about when I said that.
My goodness.
Unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable.
But, and they'll say it, and I've lost a lot of weight. Everybody knows that. And I was just talking about this on the radio about, so he goes, I don't even remember you like that.
Yeah.
But because I look so different. He says, I didn't even know that was you. We were talking about pictures or whatever. And it goes, we see it, the people that have to lose the weight, and we see the struggles. And so it's hard for a lot of people that maybe are healthy and they do the right things, like exercise and do that. But once you get to a point, it's really hard to lose that weight. I can see how it would help keep and retain employees.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're like, I don't want to quit because I have great benefits.
Right.
Including this. So.
And that's a huge draw, I think, for people. Well, a new singles scene is unfolding in medieval times, believe it or not.
Really?
It's dinner with the jousting tournament. Now these helmet-clad knights have become the hottest new alternative to Hinge, believe it or not. Between sword fights and royal decrees, flirty knights are locking eyes with female customers. They even toss roses into the crowd and crown one lucky spectator the queen of the tournament. Dating experts say it's giving modern romance a medieval makeover. With 10 castle locations across the U.S. and Canada, fans are hopping aboard the Chivalry Express, proving this isn't a one castle crush.
And if the date doesn't work out, you can say, well, I met a nice wench there. Right? And it's okay. You can say that because...
Not my knight in shining armor.
Lots of puns you can be able to use there. We want you to come back and have some more fun with us. We got more of today's talk, tomorrow's trends still to come right here on Daily Flash.
KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference. This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash. Today's trends, tomorrow's talk. Let's check in with James Alexander. Hey, James.
Yes, I'm overseeing those 219 stations across the country and across the world on American Forces Network. And if you find out where we are in your neck of the woods, go to dailyflashshow.com and click on where to watch. And where on that list, you will see the home to Route 66. This is the birthplace of Route 66.
Ooh.
Springfield, Missouri.
Really?
KGCS TV.
Welcome, Springfield.
Yep, 1926. Wow, that's so long. It doesn't seem like we used to
100
have
years
stories
ago.
of Route 66. Yep, over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. So we used to have stories of Route 66, and wasn't it a TV show?
There's a song that was in,
Was,
you're right.
so
It
it
was
was
a
a TV show,
I, in Oklahoma, it goes through Oklahoma, it goes through Albuquerque as well. But it's just classic. And it's so cool. I know Jackson like because it's all that mid-century. You know, really it boomed up, and there's artwork that goes along the way. And they really wanted a lot of these little quirky museums there as well. Motels,
gas stations, diners.
It's all kind, and that like the dinosaur stuff.
The dinosaur stuff,
You see that kind of stuff.
So
you miss that.
They call it the Mother Road, connects Chicago and Los Angeles.
Oh, the Mother Road. Okay,
Yeah,
I
they
like
call it
that.
the Mother Road.
Get your kicks there. All right,
Yeah.
awesome. We love you, Springfield. We love all of our 219 stations around the country. And if you are anywhere, we love hearing from you at flash@dailyflashshow.com. If you're ever heading down to Mexico, look out. Looks like somebody in Mexico is fighting. Their superpower is using duct tape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, check this out. It's a vigilante in Lagos de Moreno, Mexico. They're calling him the Batman of Jalisco. And basically the reason why he's taking the crime fighting onto a whole different level. Basically, he will catch there's been a ring of people stealing stuff, right?
Stealing motorbikes. Yeah.
Motorbikes, wallets, yada, yada. And he catches up to them, apparently, and grabs them. And duct tapes them to
a lamppost.
A lamppost, and then will write stuff all over their face. I got some pictures here I want to show you. This is from social media that I'm going to share with you. This is what he does to them. This is actual pictures that we had to blur out their face because we don't know who the person is or if they're guilty. Yeah. But on their face, he will write like thief.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I stole this motorcycle.
Really?
And they'll keep the motorcycle nearby as well. I got another picture here. And one time, he got two at a time.
Two, yeah, those two. Right
Look at that. And did just the same.
Young.
Duct tape it on. Right. Hey, look, it puts it out there. It shames them.
Yeah.
There's a different culture altogether. And so far, they've had a little under a dozen people that have actually been caught so far. But back in 2018 in Puerto Vallarta, this same thing happened, except a guy duct taped them, and on the back of their head, he would get he would put the letter R. Kind of like Zorro would do, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
So your thoughts on that vigilante justice?
Vigilante justice.
You think about in Mexico, the police, it depends on how much money you got on you if you're going to get away with a crime or not. It is what it is. Why do you have to say that?
See?
So carry cash with you whenever you're there as well. I think it's hilarious that people are getting caught.
Yeah.
But man, if somebody go, well, I want to do it, and then they're going to wind up getting hurt. That's the issue.
It speaks volumes to the fact that crime is an issue. People want to feel safe. They want to feel like their belongings are protected. And when you live in an area where it's not safe, or maybe there's a lot of crime, and the police are they've got their hands tied when it comes to fighting crime, people take it into their own hands. It's what it is.
I would imagine he had to have some kind of weapon, or it could be two people, we don't even know.
Could be, yeah.
That to get them to stand still while he's going around. You know what I'm saying? Like, because nobody's going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that could be, a dangerous thing there as well, because if he has a knife, what if somebody gets hurt? He uses the gun accidentally because he thinks the guy's run away. I don't know what he does because we don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
You see a rise of vigilantism on social media, including what you just said, and there's one over in Europe that identifies pickpockets and warns tourists. He rides a bike, so they're pickpocket, be careful, pickpocket, and they screaming at him. They keep walking through the crowd. Yeah,
I've seen this.
That's kind of a good thing about social media, is that it does get the word out quickly when it comes to this kind of stuff. So if the guy's doing it just for clicks on social media, that's a problem. Obviously, we don't know who he is, so we won't. But
which is maybe for that case.
Maybe.
But there's somebody out there that cares about their community. It sounds like might not be doing it the right way. Well, more Flash after this.
You're watching Daily Flash. Time now for The Scene with Doreen.
We're celebrating 50 years of one of rock's greatest anthems, Hotel California by the Eagles. And today on The Scene with Doreen, I sit down with guitarist, singer, songwriter, and the co-writer of that hit, Don Felder. He's got new music, a tour, and so much more to talk about. I can't wait to dig in. Check it out.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
26 marks the 50th birthday of one of the best and most iconic songs in rock history, Hotel California. And it was born much like this on a beautiful July day, sitting on the couch, soaking wet in a bathing suit.
Yeah, I had rented a beach house that was built probably in the 50s. It wasn't like you drive down Broad Beach today and these houses are 25, $50 million. This was long before all that. So I was sitting on the couch just playing this acoustic guitar and looking out at the sun shining on the Pacific as the waves come in, and my kids playing on a little swing set I had in the sand outside the house, and out comes this progression. And I play it 4 or 5 times, and I said, I gotta go record a little bit of this or I'll forget it. It came time that we started writing song ideas for what was going to become the Hotel California album. And I went in and I heard that progression. I said, well, I have to make a demo of that. Henley calls me up after I give him the cassette. He says, I really like that sound, the one that sounds like a Mexican reggae. And I went,
Yeah.
it's only one of them that sounds like a Mexican reggae. And he took it and took the idea with him and Glenn. I think Glenn wrote a couple of lines in the chorus, but Don Henley wrote most of the lyrics for that song.
I heard a little birdie told me that you were a big fan of it being released as a single. So if you had your way, we don't know. We might be in a different conversation right now.
Well, it was unusual because the record company had been banging on our door. It took over a year to make that album in the studio. When it was finished, we had a playback party for the record company. And after Hotel went by in this control room, he turns around to the record company, Don Henley turns around to the record company, and says, that's going to be one of our singers. And I went, Don, I don't think that's an AM hit. I think that's an FM track. AM radio back then in the 70s, you had to be 3 minutes or 3 minutes and 30 seconds at the most. AM radio was not playing things that were 6.5 minutes long. So I've never been so lucky in my entire life to have been so wrong about my thoughts about that song being on AM radio.
It's hard enough to survive 5 minutes in the music industry, and here you are celebrating over 5 decades with your new album, The Vault.
It's music from the last 50 years, from 1974, which is the first demo I wrote for the Eagles, that didn't get finished on an album, all the way up to 2024. So those 50 years of music I rediscovered and went back in and re-recorded them and produced them. I wrote the lyrics, sang and everything on top of it. So, and it's a really interesting flashback into the song ideas that I had 50 years ago that are still relevant today.
Visit donfelder.com. Check him out on the road for his Taking It Back tour with the Guess Who. Pick up his newest album, The Vault, 50 Years of Music. Get his book, Heaven and Hell, My Life in the Eagles, and just stay connected to everything. That is Don Felder. Yes, we definitely like what Don does. And if you want to hear more of our great conversation, visit here. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each week. See you next time.
If you are wondering what to get mom this year for Mother's Day, we've got you covered. Lifestyle expert and mom of 2, Bethany Braun-Silva is here with some great gift ideas. Hi, Bethany.
Hi, I'm lifestyle expert and mom Bethany Braun-Silva, and Mother's Day is all about celebrating moms, and honestly, feeling good in what you're wearing is such a big part of that. If you're wondering what to get mom this year, Shein has so many stylish, affordable, and quality trendy pieces. For spring, I love easy outfits like a striped knit vest with shorts, or a more elevated look with wide leg trousers and a lightweight sweater. For downtime, matching pajama sets are always a win. They're cute, comfortable, and something moms will actually use. And accessories like straw bags, sandals, and gold jewelry are the perfect finishing touch. To shop all of these Mother's Day looks, visit Shein.com or download the Shein app and search for Mom. It's one of the most downloaded shopping apps and makes finding stylish, affordable gifts easy to celebrate every mom this Mother's Day.
A European spring tradition is shaping how Americans host. Julian Areola, St. Germain ambassador, joins us with Spritz season trends. Julian, tell me, what is Spritz season and why is it trending?
Of course. So the magic is that the Spritz is a year-round cocktail, but a recent report from the Bacardi cocktail trends shows that the spritz cocktail is outpacing the martini and the gin and tonic to be the #1 cocktail of the year. And with that, Saint Germain is leading the trends because of our dedication to our wild, hand-picked elderflowers.
You got to show us how easy it is to make a spritz at home.
Oh, I'd love to. So we're going to start off with our beautiful Saint Germain spritz glass that already has ice. We'll then add 2 ounces of sparkling water. And then we'll add 2 ounces of Prosecco. What's amazing here is that you can substitute that for a sparkling rosé or a sparkling red wine. That'll bring out a lot of other beautiful notes that are found in Saint Germain. We'll then add 1.5 ounces of our elderflower liqueur. This is where we get all of the notes of lychee and passion fruit, honeysuckle, stone fruit like peaches and pears. And then we'll give it a good stir. That'll allow the golden hue from Saint Germain to really fill out the glass. And then we'll garnish with lime and a mint wedge. And it's just that easy. Voila.
And where can we learn more?
Of course. So at the bottom of your screen, there should be a QR code. There's also one at the end of the table. Both will take you to saintgermainsliqueur.com, where there is a store locator that will take you to restaurants that have a Saint Germain spritz, as well as venues that sell our elderflower liqueur. Additionally, you're able to purchase a Saint Germain spritz kit, which is super fun.
Fantastic! Tell you what, we're going to post this info on our website, dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
Mitch, thank you. Well, Neo explains the hard work behind his relationship with not 1, not 2, but 3 women. The 46-year-old singer appeared on The Sherry Show and revealed that he chose to pursue a different situationship after an ugly divorce. The R&B artist recalled approaching his girlfriend last spring about his desire to date other women and make them all part of one relationship. The singer-songwriter prefers his trio of girlfriends not date other men. So but it's okay for him to have 3 women, but the women can't date other men. Okay.
To me, why would you want that many headaches? And then remembering things. Just the other day, the common joke, maybe you've done this, was like, hey, didn't we see this movie, yada, yada? Yeah. That was with another girlfriend or whatever. You know you're running into that when you're dating 3 women at the same time. But apparently, and I'm of the belief, look, if that's what works for you, I can't see how it is. And it'd be confusing to kids, I would imagine, as well, if you had children with any of them.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the case or not.
If it works for the women, James.
I knew you were going to say something. I was like, I wish James was in.
James?
I got to agree with Mitch. It is a headache.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun.
No doubt about that.
It's a lot of fun.
No doubt about that.
I can see that. How do you keep the names straight?
That's what I would. Yeah, the hardest part would be keeping names together.
And birthdays and dates straight.
Girl number 1, girl number 2, girl number 3.
Door number 1. You said door, right? I want to make sure you said door.
Oh, girl number 1.
You're trying to get me in trouble with HR.
And you just call all of them hun or babe or dear.
It's easier.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you
go.
Neo,
if that's your thing, all right, that's your thing. And
I suppose so.
if it brings everybody happiness, then God bless.
I guess so. All right. Well, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes are reportedly sending wedding invites to their exes, believe it or not. 3 years after their scandalous romance led to their firing from GMA3, the duo are including their exes on the guest list. The future bride and groom don't expect them to show, but wanted to extend an invite anyway. Their relationship was exposed back in November of 2022 following their suspension from ABC. Insiders say the relationship was in violation of the morality clause in their network contracts. The two were married to other spouses at the time of their firing and affair. They have since divorced, clearing the slate for the duo to marry. To this day, Robach and Holmes insist they were not cheating while they were married. And did I hear a rumor that their ex-spouses are dating?
That's what I had heard, yes. I think Hugo was mentioning that to us. Yeah, that they were dating, which is like a total sitcom if you think about that. And the GMA3, that's a Subaru, right? That's one of the GMA3.
That was a mid-morning show no one watched on ABC.
Okay. All right, yeah. Not sure about that. We are talking about affairs. Some salacious stuff about Bill Gates.
Yes, it just dropped on the New York Post that Bill Gates admits to having an affair, not one, but 2 affairs, at least 2 affairs with Russian women in connection with Jeffrey Epstein.
And let me tell you, taking this, everybody wants to know what's on the files and everything. I think maybe he's doing damage control now, which,
Probably.
hey, admit to it, don't lie about it. And that's the only thing I can say that's about good out of this is that he's taking responsibility.
The problem with too much money and too much power is that you have access to everything, and sometimes I think that clouds your judgment and you make some poor choices. And obviously he was married and had kids, I believe, at the time that he had these affairs, at least married. So I think those were some poor choices on his point.
And when you are a billionaire and your spouse and you get a divorce gets half, and you have half of the hundreds of billions, that's still a lot of money.
A lot of money.
It's all about pride after that point, I guess.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of Hollywood.
Hold on, wait. I want to get Matt in on this call, all right? Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
So, Matty of Birkenshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Ooh, dog and cat, it's
Hey, you should check it out. This kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the music.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online. KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. We always want to leave you on a high note, so that's why we want to tell you something good.
This is going to make you feel really good. We go to Belton, Texas, and what started as a simple visit between high school volleyball players and a local senior living community actually turned into an unlikely and actually heartwarming friendship, all thanks to a game called chair volleyball.
Chair volleyball. Okay, the residents at Woodland Cottages call themselves the Hit Squad, and they face off with the Lake Belton High School team in friendly matches that are less about winning and more about laughing, connecting, and just moving together. The rules are simple. Everyone stays seated, the ball goes over the net, and the competition gets fierce. But the real magic happens after the serve, when stories are shared and generations learn from each other.
Really cool. The friendship has actually gone beyond the court. Seniors even surprised the students by showing up to cheer for them at a school game. So they kind of did the other way around. That's really cool, proving that it just isn't an activity, it's a bond. Staff say that the partnership has boosted spirits, created some purpose, actually brought a new kind of energy to both the students and the residents.
After all, it's a little reminder that connection does not have an age limit. It is indeed ageless, and sometimes all it takes is a ball, a net, and a little heart, and that is something good.
I agree with that. And, sitting there thinking, this could be a new sport. If they have a sport where two people are going to run into each other, chair volleyball, actually, I think we could even play it here in the show. Yes. It'd be actually kind of fun. Even I could start seeing, how they have the retreats for companies, maybe like that could be an exercise of bonding.
The competition,
Right?
I think so too. And it's so important too, especially for our senior community, that they have something to look forward to every day and something to keep them active and engaged. And this keeps them active, it keeps them engaged, and it also keeps them connected to a generation.
Really cool. Now, if you want more information about everything we talked about here on the show, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. Bye-bye, y'all.
Everybody.